Fuck.
Welcome. This is our mostly weekly game of Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails with a little bit of Deadlands mixed in. The story so far, our posse has added in an additional person, or at least probably, and they've tracked down what seems to have been a supernatural killer out of Coldwater through a small town of Wirt to a town of Etna, just out of there to a mine where they tracked him and eventually killed him. At least they believe they've taken it down. It's always hard to tell with supernatural creatures. Leaving quite a few difficult to wrap up endpoints at the mine. So after searching and such, coming back and forth, taking care of some bodies, the decision has been made to, in effect, blast the mine close, as opposed to digging a little bit too further into what lies beyond the John D. seal buried relatively deep into the mine. So most of the party has returned to Coldwater, where then Christopher, Vance, and Gustav headed to a different mine, the Providence Mine, several miles west of Coldwater, in order to gain help and access from two experienced hard mine proprietors who would not come to Coldwater casually. And upon a brief discussion with these two fellows, the party, or at least half the party, has agreed that Christopher would lead one of the two fellows back to Etna to hopefully put the final works on the Craven Mine, while Vance and Gustav stay at the Providence site, more or less to help out, not necessarily
Help.
to mine
Drink.
per se,
2 coats of paint.
but to make up for any other work, maybe split some wood, that kind of thing. Meanwhile, back in Coldwater, Walt has finished up some writing reports in order to maintain, being a good muckraker / reporter.
Investigative journalist.
And the good doctor still fulfilling his semi-obligation of covering for the normal resident doctor of Coldwater, as well as following up on bits and pieces of his inheritance that he recently came to him. So that's where we're at. Well, we just lost Dave, so
I would just like to point out that for me to chop wood in real life and then log onto the game to escape my troubles and then be assigned to chop wood in the game is some kind of cruel twist of fate.
Yeah. It's like dreaming that you're at work.
I feel like I should get paid for those hours.
Just be careful you don't dream that you're peeing. We won't go into any more detail.
Yes, well, you can't find the bathroom even though you're at work or you're.
That's why I sleep in the tub.
Is that bad? Anyway, let's see here. So, Christoph, you split off with it was one of the two guys. Which one was it? Do you remember?
Was it Vance? Like Vance. I think
it was me and you stayed back.
Yeah, because Chris was going back to the mine with the two handymen.
Wasn't Bill going with?
Yeah.
Christopher and Matt was staying back.
I just got to scroll down through my notes here.
It's Matt Grady and Bill Graves.
I have it Bill in my notes.
So
Yeah, I
Bill went
lost
with
my
you?
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Bill. Okay. And, yeah, Bill Graves. Yeah, that's right. All right, so Christopher, guess you start off with Bill.
Yeah.
Not too terribly much to be said there. Do you have any thoughts or whatever? Do you have any? Well, I'm going to strike up some conversations concerning X with him, or is it pretty much just concentrate on the ride?
Concentrate on the ride to Etna.
Fair enough. Now you can take the longer way out.
We're taking the longer way.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, well, they'll always take the longer way. Do you want to take the long way to the bank on the other side of town? Yes, we'll take the long way.
I had enough excitement with the short way, and I don't know his skills, and I'm only one man and not 7 zombies.
You know, the Hobbit shortcuts make long delays.
Yeah,
And zombies.
Bill even mentions, well, I can't blame you. It's half the reason why oftentimes we don't even bother going to Coldwater. We often go down to Stillwater, even though it's a much longer ride. That Hidden Box Canyon, that's just dangerous riding with dangerous fellas in there. Give me an area knowledge roll, Christopher.
My newly improved area knowledge roll.
That's right.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. All right. You've certainly heard of Stillwater, but you haven't had time yet to cycle through that area. You know, it's south. You're not even really sure how far, but you know, clearly at least within a vaguely reasonable ride. But you know, maybe not.
Kids.
So let's go over to Coldwater Town here. So,
Oh, there it is.
well, you worked on your writings and got those sent out.
Yeah, I did.
Did you have anything else you were going to particularly want to follow up in town?
Well, I think I'm still trying to find the man whose name changes, the Tinker, when he comes back in town.
Yeah.
I got my network working, and I kind of worked over the Grave Digger, and now I'm buddies with him. So I don't think I've seen Dan for a while. I'll probably go check in with Dan.
The Undertaker.
Okay.
Dan?
You have had a couple.
What about
other,
the Undertaker?
You have had a couple other name drops.
Unfortunately, I lost my notes. I wrote all these notes, and they are gone.
Oh boy.
I have notes. I have like notes from December 22nd, but that doesn't really help me. Yeah, I wrote all this really good stuff down, and now I can't. It's just gone.
Huh.
Which really stinks because I actually did go to the trouble of writing my notes up, and of course I asked my wife, and I didn't get the satisfaction I was looking for. I was kind of,
Or she tells you that she threw away your notes because she thought they were trash.
I don't know. She organized, but I had them. They're gone.
All right. Well.
Oh, I apologize.
Hmm.
There was the names like the I'm trying to remember interesting places, the corruption, and then there was like the train, like the old, was it 99 or something, that had something to do with talking to one of the people at the train station. And I'm sorry, I don't have that. That's what I got. I lost. My notes are gone.
Okay. Give me two dumb luck rolls.
Hey, I just improved my dumb luck. But not good enough, apparently. So I missed the first. And hey, I made the second one because I improved it.
Oh, well, okay, there you go.
Sweet.
Right, yeah, for the life of you, you just can't remember the guy's name at the train station, which one it was, whatever. you also, but you do recall the name Gilmore being brought up a couple times. Let's see. Ugh, it's tough. I don't know.
The well, I remember it was the old something train, 99 train or express train, something had to do with the train, and that was the whoever the person was at the station, the big building, whatever, number 1. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
Gilmore.
Well, I mean, that's something that, probably, you can follow up on, even that alone is probably enough to, if you want to make some inquiries about it, you certainly could. Let's see here, Dr. Trout. You did your initial kind of attempts at things. Did you have a chance to look in the book to see about anything specific?
Yeah, I was looking at. I mean, the categories are pretty broad. There's one that heals, which I don't think I need, and based on my history, I think that would be a very bad. It's not something that I want to be involved with. There's like shooting things, but I'm a pretty good shot with a gun, so I don't need a ranged attack. So I decided to go with the one. There's one that can boost my friends, but I think some of them shoot so well that boosting them would basically make them godly. And I'm a pious man, so I think I was going to go with the one that hinders an opponent. That whichever one that one's called.
Let's take a look here.
It's like right after the boost a friend. I can boost my own abilities too.
You boost a car.
But I don't see my character as being the one. He's not a combatant. He's not intentionally going to be getting into the middle of a fight if he can avoid it. But hero support's always, or bad guy. What's that from that movie Sky High?
Does that make you the
sidekick?
commander?
I'm hero support.
Does that make you the commander or Jetstream?
Makes me that kid that turns into a hamster.
See, most people wouldn't like that, but that's okay.
I have extremely low standards. Look at my brother.
All right. Well, I mean, to go through, there's
for only like 6 skills.
Term, a general list, right?
Looking at it, I only saw like 6 different categories.
If you go back to the original rule book, if you look at page 164, all
right,
those will show you all the various hexes that you could of your possibilities to choose from, and it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's like 15 or 16 hexes.
It's just out of range of that's long range for an LRM, 15 hexes. I'm looking through my papers trying to find these stupid notes because I actually went to the trouble of writing them down. Now they're gone.
So look at that page 164 and say that's the sort of the table. Scroll up to like 162 and 163 kind of gives a well, I guess 158 to 163 covers a little more detail of each one of them.
Right.
And just give me a little ping there on what you ultimately decide to settle in on. Yep.
You got it.
All right.
My wife filed them. I found it freaking randomly in a box of miscellaneous papers. Nice filing system, hun.
I'm gonna go with hunch.
Damn.
Okay, that's cool.
That one seems like it could be interesting for investigating.
Melville Watts. Old 59. Tom Cogburn, station.
Okay,
man.
that
You
works.
thought I'd like Mark's blowing smoke up my ass. He didn't take notes. He's just right here. And I'm serious. I'm gonna have a little. Well, actually, no.
I mean, Mark, aren't you?
I don't want to
want
sleep in the guest room, so I'm not going to comment on my wife's filing.
Aren't you just sitting in front of a computer that has like a keyboard and
like ability to take notes and all sorts of crazy things.
Wait,
A funny little program called Notepad.
are you actually giving me shit?
you
Okay.
could make words with a program called Word.
This reminds me of a line from Coming to America at the barber shop.
Or you could be German and use Volksreiter, if anybody remembers that.
Volksreiter. How old are you, Aaron?
Old enough to suggest Aftermath as a game to play.
Yeah, I
we-
recognize it.
And then he also said, "Yeah, isn't that really a really streamlined game? I remember that's a game that had fold-out charts of flow charts."
Just
The armor system alone. Oh,
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Oh no! That's my left nipple. No, I have arm on my right nipple. No.
I actually did a quick look up and I was like, oh, that's right. It's got a 20 location system for hitting. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I always bought the iron codpiece. I'm just saying. So,
Yeah,
and a helmet.
because it
Everything
was
else
a
is
5% chance of getting hit in the dingleberries. I mean,
Yeah, unless sack shooter is drawn down on you.
area 12, whack! Ah!
no 12. Could ruin your whole week.
Christopher Sack Tapper Barnett.
Okay, so you could even, in effect, give that a whirl if you want to. There's very little downside to using such a thing, or we could wait till later, whatever. But
You're talking about the hunch skill?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that basically everybody else lets me touch something and sort of get a sense of its history or some detail about it. Probably there's some things in the office where I have enough knowledge, like I know enough about the doctor that I could sort of like touch one of his things and see if it gives me a sense of him. So yeah, that would probably be something I could practice.
well, you remember actually being a little curious about the doctor's skeleton, the skeleton that's hanging in the doctor's office.
One that is a real live human.
That's the last doctor that worked there.
Well, they're
current
all
doctor.
real life humans back then.
Wow,
Yeah, so let's
Greg,
give that
you
a
just
whirl.
went dark on that one.
I'm gonna go touch it on its forehead and see what horrid memories it has.
Okay. Let's see here. So
Seriously, he's got a page of notes just for that.
I got the scroll here.
This is when you get put into another room, and then you come
Oh.
back and you're like, okay, so I'm gibbering and drooling on the floor.
So I think
Not again.
Ah, crap! I think I saved the wrong file. What do you have my hex or what's the skill I'm using for that?
Okay, so let's see here. I didn't even write them down on your sheet, which I should have, but
I've got it in an older version of my file. Yeah.
Don't forget the special one for constipation, the Hexlax.
let's see.
I think it's really cute that. Bless your heart. You think that's funny?
Aaron chuckled. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bless both your hearts.
All right, so you start off with hex sling of 30%.
All right, and that's the skill is hex slinging.
Yeah.
Check.
And
there another-
then you also have, it's the equivalent to sort of Cthulhu knowledge, but it's arcane knowledge.
And that starts at like 10 or 15 or something.
And I think that started at 10%.
Okay.
So
So give it a whirl with hex slinging. See if I can mind meld with this this dead skelly.
well, let's see here. So on hex slinging, let's see here. That is cognition. So that's knowledge, right? So, what's your knowledge right now?
Oh, knowledge is
education, your knowledge.
Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay, 80.
80. Okay. So, let's see here. So if you got an 80,
So it's a 16 is the 40, and those are the hard checks and stuff. Sorry.
so yeah, so let's see here. 80. You take the hard of that, so that's 40%, right? So 1.4 times 30 is 42%. So, or sorry, is 42%. So that's your chance of success. So roll percentage, you're looking for 42 or less.
So my half my knowledge is modifying my roll because I'm so smart.
Yes.
Oh, bugger. Oh, wait. Okay, so I got a 44, and I got a whole lot of chips there, buddy.
You
Yeah.
up as well.
And he's not afraid to
I'm
use
not
them.
afraid to use them, especially these white ones.
Sure.
So
Uh,
what did they do for you?
White will reduce 10% off of that. So if you rolled a 44, you can blow a white chip and it can go, that would be a 34.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. So you succeed in the magic, if you will, of the thing. Now this is freaking you out. This is the first time you've ever done this, right?
Yeah, I sort of absentmindedly walk across the room and kind of look at the skeleton and go,
Well, one thing that you particularly noticed you absentmindedly did is that you picked up the cool deck of cards that was in the cabinet almost without thinking about it, and you were kind of riffing through them while you were doing this. As a totally almost 100% totally unconscious, but you absolutely were flipping and sorting through the cards while you were touching, or maybe you were preparing the cards first and then touched. But you've now found out that manipulation of the deck of cards, or at least a deck of cards, from your point of view, this deck of cards, is an absolute component of doing this hunch thing.
so that seems awfully complicated. Could we just do like human sacrifice instead?
It's not that bad. You just need to be
got the scalpel, right?
Cards.
Oh,
So you succeeded. Woohoo! You draw 5 cards out of your deck. So shuffle and deal 5.
crap. All right. Why don't you move to another player while I find these cards? Jumping scenes to some other part of town.
Right.
Sorry.
So Vance and Gustav, you're up at the mine. Old
We're
Bill
at the Bill's cabin, I guess.
Well, they're riding off into the distance, whatever. And so many pages I have to look at.
So we're left with Matt, right?
Sounds right. That's what I was just looking up.
Yeah, because Bill is going with Christopher, so Matt Grady's back with us.
Right.
All right.
So Matt kind of gives you a good solid look. So any of y'all know how to actually mine at all, or y'all no?
No.
No.
That's mine.
Hey Matt, do you know of the fellers that were mining down in the canyon?
Down the canyon?
Yeah, we when we were riding up here, we came across a mine. All those poor bastards had died. And they had died, but they didn't stay dead. If you get my meaning.
Yeah, we've Well, hell, we've even had to deal with a little bit of that, Bill and me. Hell, even Jezebel here has kicked a few of them. He nods to his what appears to be a fairly docile mule. Um, so yeah, that's unfortunate that all happens. He looks a little squirrely when he says that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we took care of the rest of the boys that were down there. Let's see, I think it was, let's see, I killed 3. How many did you kill, Gustav?
I think just one. I think Chris
1
killed the other 2.
million.
I don't know. I think it might have been like 7 or 8 of them.
There's nothing to set a miner at ease like telling him all the other miners you killed.
Well, I'm just saying that, the poor
Now that he's
bastards
alone with
died.
us.
But the thing was, they had a pretty well stocked wagon still back there, just sitting down there. The horses that were in the camp, those poor nares were dead, and we just didn't have the horses or anything to bring it back up. I wasn't sure if that would be of any use.
Of course, that would require going back into that canyon.
Well, between when you had that run in, after you wrapped it all that up, and the time it took from there to here, how long was that?
Let's see. We finished up. Come to
Maybe
in
2 days?
non-character. What was that? A few hours?
Yeah, it was only maybe
3 hours, 3 or 4 hours.
yeah, maybe even a little less. Maybe close to about 2 hours, maybe from that encounter to getting up to here.
Okay, so about 2 hours. Yeah. So it was only about 2 hours back.
Well, I mean,
Which that mine's pretty close to your mine, and that's
yeah. I mean, we got 2 strong horses, for hauling our cart around.
Well, we could stand here and we could help you chop wood and some menial tasks, but seems to me you got 2 gentlemen who know how to shoot that could help you get this wagon and maybe any other supplies we could scavenge. Might as well help you while we're here. Might be your only opportunity to get it and want to sell it or whatever. Of no use to us, but maybe we'll find something worth taking. Honestly, we got in and out of there pretty quick, so we didn't look too close at what was
Right.
maybe some tools, supplies.
He pulls out. You guys are still in the house, right, with him?
Yeah.
So he pulls out a map, and it's a relatively decent map of the area.
Beats my napkin.
And he points, by a long shot. He points to this is you are here kind of thing, and I guess Gustav and Vance both give me a navigate roll just to kind of be able to kind of go, okay, this was here, kind of thing.
Ooh.
I am only at 10% in navigate.
All right, I'm going to spend some luck points because I'm damn close.
Oh, me too.
I will. Oh, shoot! I only have to spend 1 point.
Oh well, that's worth it.
Yeah. I'm
Good
going to send
deal.
that 1 point. And that brings me down to 36, which is my max.
Okay, so not exactly a not
orient the map.
Right. Enough to orient the map and all right.
Let's see.
there.
The Horsehead Rock was about here, right?
Right.
According to my napkin.
Yeah, and he kind of looks at your napkin and kind of go, "Oh, okay, I get what Dan must have been, and kind of noodling it out as well." He kind of sighs and he kind of looks to the back of the house, which also would be back towards where the mine is. he seems somewhat reluctant, even with the possibility of a bounty of, a second wagon, and some additional provisions for mining. He seems hesitant.
Well, do you know that mine?
Can't say I do. Which is odd. I didn't think there was any active mines down in Hidden Box.
Yeah, we just kind of literally stumbled across it. We caught some smoke in the distance, and we came up to where there was a rest of a fire. And
you see any talons?
Any what?
Talons?
Talons.
Pulled out rock.
Not that I recall.
Like, you don't know anything about mining, do you? In that case, we're world experts.
No, I mean, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of pulled out rock in the canyon. It looked like this had been an established mine for a while.
All right, so maybe they were jumping a claim or just trying to squeeze something out of a mine that
was tapped,
had played out.
Sure, weren't they could have been squatting. We don't even know who owns the land out there.
Oh, well, that's a whole another subject on who owns the land. But
well, I did have the name of one of them. Let's see. I did find this here Bible. If I wrote down the name.
Oh yeah.
Was the only thing I took there.
Yeah, I know.
I think they were CSA, Confederate boys.
Yeah.
Confederate boys. Okay, well, they'd probably be just jumping the claim. Now, I know it used to be well, of course, all of this area was Indian country. And Coyotes later made major claim on it. And I think Barr had a claim on it. Last time I was in town, I understand the Montclairs picked it up. The whole canyon.
Montclairs hold the canyon.
Now, that don't make no sense to me. As far as I understand, the Montclairs are, well, him. It's all cattle.
Yeah, what do they need a canyon for?
I don't know. Nothing but scrub and crap in there.
Oh.
Good for steer.
Well, we would have asked them what they was doing there, but they weren't quite in a condition to reply.
Well, if you could, if you want, if you don't want to travel down there, Gustav and I would be more than happy to go down and recover the wagon.
Okay. With that thought, both you and Gustav, I want you to make a power roll with advantage.
Power roll with advantage.
You gotta roll the D10 twice and take the better one.
A 29 out of 75. So a hard success.
Okay.
That one? 21 out of 65.
Gustav,
success.
I have your power at 65. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I rolled 21 out of 65.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I was 60. I was like,
Yep.
Okay. He goes, yeah, well, I guess that's probably better than we got a fair amount of split wood. Hell, if you bring it back here, if nothing else, if maybe somebody who can show proof of ownership, it'd certainly be safer here than sitting in that canyon.
Rotting in the canyon.
Yeah.
What time of day is it? Something we should write out today
Probably-
and do? Should we wait till the next day? I don't know if
Well,
I
that's
want
up
to do
you
this
all,
in the
but
dark.
it's probably 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. So if you rode relatively hard there, of course you don't know the condition of the horses that he can provide.
Might be best to tackle this in the morning. Then ride out, get stranded out there in the dark with a wagon, an unknown condition. We could break an axle and then get stuck.
It might be better to go in the morning.
I would say first thing tomorrow.
Okay, that's he says, well, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah. Dr. Gable, did you find a deck of cards?
I did find a deck of cards. Ready.
All right, go ahead and draw 5 cards, please. And in effect, you're drawing yourself a poker hand.
I have a pair of aces, a king, 3 and 2.
Paris is pretty good.
3 and 2. Any face card that you feel like you want to get rid of to try to improve your hand, you can.
All right, I'll get rid of this king. I'll just draw a replacement.
Yeah.
That did not help.
Did not help. Okay, unfortunately, that spell requires a pair in order to.
I have a pair of aces.
Yeah, he said he's got a
Pair of aces.
Sorry, 2 pair.
Oh.
So you need 2 pair, 3 of a kind, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So
So tell him what the side effects for failing are.
So
no, his magic succeeded. The hunch just failed.
So what's the luck cost for that?
Nothing. Your magic succeeded.
Oh, so if you fail, you take a luck hit.
Exactly.
So when can I try that again?
Immediately if you want.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, same thing. Roll. You're looking to get 42 or less.
No, that's not going to work. I got burned a lot of chips, but that's probably so. What's the cost of a failure?
Oh, let's see here. Hold on.
Is it like 10 luck? Or
It's not horrible.
Aw.
Yeah, it's 5 luck points. Not a big deal.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm practicing. Let's try. Can I try one more time?
Uh-huh.
All right. It's just getting worse. Yeah, that was not a good roll. All right, I'm gonna go one more.
All right. It's like a
Burn
slot
10
machine.
burn 10 luck already.
Come on, I'm due.
All right, and I'm burning a white chip too. So I succeeded with a chip. And these 5 cards I used, do I leave them out of the deck?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Don't suck. Don't suck. Don't suck. Don't suck. I told it not to suck, but apparently,
Didn't listen.
yes, I got a 9, 10, and a jack, but nothing else. And then a 3 and a 4.
That doesn't help too much. Yeah.
No, it does not. So is a straight a good thing?
I mean, you can dump out the jack.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll dump the 10 and the jack and try again, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'll pull 2 more cards. And no, that's not helpful. All right. Well, at least I succeeded on the magic. All right. Can I just keep trying?
Yeah, until you burn.
I think I'm good for 2 more. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
You drop dead.
Until you run out of luck. Yeah.
And I'll use another chip so I can get a success because I can't seem to roll below a 40.
That's how
All
we
right,
got through
here we
med
go.
school.
Here we go.
Joker system.
Black Joker. Queen. 7. 5. Come on. 2. Wah, wah. What's a jack? The
No, it's-
Joker's whatever I want it to be, right?
Joker's wild.
Wah, wah.
All right. Well, let me replace the queen. Let's see what we got. Oh, another Joker. All right. I have 2
Okay. Well,
I have 2 7s and 2 5s.
you're going to succeed. Well, you probably have 3 of a kind, which is even better.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that idea. Let's go with 3 7s.
Just saying. Okay, you
Although my head's starting to hurt.
yeah, a little bit.
He probably have a nosebleed at this point.
It's all my mojo.
You had a little bit of how much luck did you blow in total and all that?
I only failed twice, so
Oh.
I used 3 chips, 3 white
Okay.
chips.
All right. Let's see. So, you touched the skeleton. First thing that you get is that this is not a foreigner's skeleton. This is of a Caucasian. It's male, which is also not as common in cadaver skeletons.
Hell, I got that from my medicine check.
The body, the donor. I was going to say donor. That doesn't sound quite right for. Was a person of ill repute, and that person of ill repute was killed by the doctor.
Oh dear.
An executed prisoner.
Doctor needed a skeleton. Easiest way to get one.
Pardon me, are you still using this?
And you have a feeling that if you were able to determine when the doctor acquired this skeleton, started to display the skeleton, you could probably cross-reference with Mr. Stone, the gravedigger, and you'd probably determine that body, the body is also the result of a grave robbery.
So, okay, so there's an inconsistency. You said it was a male.
A male, yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
Person of
so is
ill
it
repute?
gigolo?
All right. And so, doctor killed this person. Person was buried, and then was dug up illicitly. Well, that's a whole lot of. I believe that's 2 laws that were violated. And to some degree, so was any sense of whether the death was traumatic or just like a poisoning or something?
Perhaps he killed him with his bill when he showed him the bill.
No sense of how the death happened. But you do get the sensation this was quite a while ago, more than 10 years.
Okay. All right. Give me some reasons to ask around about the doctor a little bit. And is he a family man?
The doctor?
Yeah.
I mean, when he's not killing, offing people with ill repute.
I mean, did you travel with his wife somewhere, or was he?
Yeah, he's actually seeing family right now with his wife. Or at least that's what he told everybody.
Maybe he made a lampshade out of her.
Oh. All right. Well, thanks.
Okay. So, hey, you used some magic. Cool.
So I can check that box. Woohoo.
You can actually. Absolutely.
That one has a good shot.
Note
because as you know, I can't roll below a 42. So
that would be a practice, as that was not the use of the skill in any sort of pressure situation.
Ooh.
Anytime he's got to roll, it's a pressure situation.
Yeah, no, that's going to be interesting though, because I don't know when a hunch is going to be a pressure situation. I guess if we're in a mine or something and we're
I think again, just a sense of.
Right, that was voluntary rather than like driven by the story. I get it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Who just we lost Dave, I guess.
Dave again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
His connection's bad or something.
Okay. So, Walt, was there anything else you wanted to follow up at this point? Now that you found your notes.
Yeah. Maybe swing by look up Melville Watts or talk to Tom Cogburn, the station manager, building 1.
That's the station manager. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What time of day are we working at here?
Well, if I remember, you guys, I think, are a little bit ahead of time than the folks over at the Providence Mine. So you're more midday.
Good time to swing by the station, swing by the train station. And I'll take the short way since I'm in town and it's daylight. Do you want to go to the train station via the Box Canyon? No, actually, I don't.
That would be the long way, the very long way. Okay, you make your way up to the train station. And who are you looking for?
Tom Cogburn.
Tom Cogburn, righto. Not too difficult to track down. You do have to kind of go through Mr. Pratt, who's sort of the teller, and he asks sort of the polite stuff, right? Would you like to make an appointment?
I'm here in my capacity as a member of the press. I think he probably wants to talk to me right now.
Can I maybe give him a little bit more of a hint other than just the press wants to talk to him?
I try fast talk on him. I don't really have time for this shit.
Okay.
Sonny boy. I failed. 17, I failed. That's great. I rolled a 93.
Oof.
I know. I should have just given him my time. But you know what? What do chips do for me? Because I don't feel like failing today. I haven't used my luck in a while.
Let's see here. A white will offset 10%, or literally a 10%, right? And I have to scroll to see what the other ones are. Red is 20%. Or you could roll just with advantage. Blue is 30%.
I'm using a blue. I'm not failing this roll.
Okay.
I'm using a blue, but I'm not failing this roll. I dig deep. I'm not going to let Mr. Pratt slow me down today. Thank you very much.
So, I may get caught, but it's not by this guy.
Right.
This putt is not preventing. So anyway, it's like this time I say it without my voice cracking. Listen, I'm with the press.
I'm with the press.
Okay.
Mr. Breaking, certainly. Just 1 minute. And he steps away from his little teller window thing and goes to a little back office and comes out, relatively quickly and says, "Right this way." And he opens up a secondary door for you to head to his office.
All right. Now I've probably seen him before because I periodically have dropped my stories off and I've taken the train to Dodge probably many times, so I'm sure I recognize him probably. Maybe.
Yeah, you certainly recognize him. You certainly know Seamus O'Gara, he's the telegraph operator, and so he's somebody who you've had quite a bit of relations with insofar as making sure that important short stories are sent by telegraph, and certainly receiving messages as well. As far as Tom goes, yeah, he's a station manager. So you certainly know of him, but you haven't had any particular need to interact with him to any great extent. He's not very big into going to town very much. He's known as a very stickler for schedules and times, as one kind of needs to be with trains. He also handles, since he handles the station itself, he handles a lot of the parcels and crates, loading, unloading, and of course during cattle rustling season, he's an extraordinarily busy man.
Okay. Well, I'm going to come in. I'm going to walk into his office. And Mr. Cook.
He greets you. Big old mustache, curly brown hair. He wears one of those white shirts with the collar flipped up, kind of, so you can kind of see his tie, kind of doing that thing, and a big double-breasted buttoned jacket. Mr. Larrabee, correct?
That is right. Thank you for taking time to see me. Hopefully you don't have a train coming immediately, but
not many, but I can give you. And he kind of literally hits a stock clock. 15 minutes.
All right, that should be plenty of time. So, you might know I'm a reporter. You may have read some of my pieces.
I have indeed.
And I've been looking into potentially looking maybe with investors, but that's not why I'm here, about potentially starting up a bit of a, I don't know if we call it a newspaper, but a periodical to take place in Coldwater. And I've been kind of running down some story ideas, and a couple of my sources said I need to talk to you.
Well, if you need to get a press here, you would definitely need to talk to me. Weight of that would not be advisable on a wagon of any sort. You'd want that to come down on train.
That's fascinating. But do you mind if I sit?
No, please, not at all. Please sit.
All right, I sit. I take off my hat, and so I think a lead-off story that I'd like to know a lot more about is what can you, and I'm going to be watching him very carefully for his reaction. Okay, what can you tell me about Old 59?
This is going to be a contested role.
All right. Am I going to try persuade or psychology or what?
Your choice. Are you looking to see what his
initially
is, or are you looking to get information about 59?
Both, but I wanted to stick to my game plan. I want to start with psychology to see if he has like a shocked look or something I could get a read off him that might help me going forward. So that was kind of my plan.
Roll your psychology and tell me how well you do.
Not quite hard success, but I made it by 20.
Okay. He rolled a 0.8, and so
he's just like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You have not gotten to know him very well yet, so maybe you have not learned many of his ticks or other sort of giveaways yet. But at least on first glance, what you thought would kind of hit him a little bit, it doesn't. appear to be so. And you asked him about the old 59, is that correct?
Well, first was to get the reaction, and I guess he gives me maybe the briefest hint of, and then cold fish. So, maybe I'm not talking to the right person. I thought as a station manager, I don't know too much about old 59, but my journalistic instincts told me that it has something to do with maybe a train. And again, I had a couple, and and by the way, I just want to point this out. As a journalist, I protect my sources. So anything you say to me, even if it gets written down, if you want credit, you get all the credit. If you want to be completely out of the picture, that's how it'll be. Have you ever worked with a reporter before on a story?
I cannot say I have, no. But I can tell you quite a bit about that incident.
Excellent. Well, you said we got 14 minutes.
It's known as the 59 incident because it happened in 1859.
Okay.
That was when some of the train leads were just happening out here. Now, I don't know how well you know this area in particular, but the Simmons Gorge, not too terribly far away from here, the trestle was, shall we, constructed in a hasty manner. This was by the Bayou Train Authority, so it is of a southern source.
So by that you mean disputed territories, Confederates kind of thing?
Well, at the time in 1859, this was not a state yet.
We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming in 59.
Well, in 59, we certainly thought that this was probably that the state of Kansas was going to go to the Confederacy if things were to go that way. Of course, in 1859, the idea of secession from the overall nation was at best a nascent thought. But
especially out west, I guess. Yeah.
Most of the feelings in Missouri were kin to feelings here in Kansas concerning the state of slavery and such. In other words, Missouri had Mississippi, then Missouri, kind of to Kansas. They had a lot of people kind of spreading the values, if you will, of both the North and the South, and it was really more of a fact that the North processed the paperwork, if you will, quicker than the South did, insofar as claiming Kansas as a state and incorporating it into the nation. Anyway,
so 1859, Simmons Gorge, poorly constructed trestle.
Well, it must have been because, the Harkness train, on its second passing, plunged into that gorge. I can tell you it was a Jackson and Wellington, a 442 locomotive, a fine locomotive, plenty of power, including double and triple steam recovery on it. He starts babbling about the locomotive in ridiculous detail, insofar as, as I say, it's double and triple steam recovery.
Can I try a persuade to get him back on topic?
Yeah, you want to do a persuade to refocus him.
All right. Success, but not just a normal success.
Okay. You kind of guide him back. So, and when you guide him back, we got a normal.
Yeah, normal. Was
he?
Wait, what's my persuade?
When you kind of realign him back to sort of a normal conversation, you get the sensation that he does not believe that the story ended in 1859. matter of fact, he seems to be, he mentioned Harkness once, and outside of that, he seems to refer to the train strictly by like the make and serial numbers and such, and doesn't actually refer to the train as the train anymore in the conversation.
Is maybe I can try psychology? Is that like that's just his nature, or is he?
Well, why don't you give me another psychology
Let me
roll.
get an insight. Yes, it's normal success.
Okay, almost success.
I didn't kill it or anything, but it was a 36 out of 44.
He seems to kind of lose his track of his old of his sort of historical. Basically, for the first 5 minutes, even 10 minutes, this is
We're running out
information
of
that you
time.
probably could have just simply got from the
Our researcher?
from just looking up in research papers, which is fine. He seems to kind of almost kind of glassly kind of glaze over and starts kind of, yeah, we're coming. Whistle
Okay.
rings twice late at night. Almost nobody else ever hears it. Soon it'll be coming in the station, though. Says we're coming. 2 whistles. Rings twice.
Is this some kind of and a point I'm just gonna ask him is so do you kind of get the sense that there's some maybe spiritual uneasiness about how this went down, and maybe there's people who are guilty, and how many people died? I mean, I assume if a train goes into a gorge, nobody survives, right?
Well, I had, of course, the engineering team on it. So I was 5 people, including the mail tenders, and I think some cattle was lost, and 3 carriages carrying passengers. He seems to have now totally forgotten that he had
Kind of
talked about 2
blacked
whistles.
out there for a little bit,
He's
huh?
kind of back on the story factual line. So that must have been, let's see here, what, 40 people per passenger train, assuming full attendance. So,
That's a God Almighty tragedy.
Probably 100 people perished.
Was that train line rebuilt in the same place?
The Bayou rebuilt the trestle, and it is, functioning today. It's their primary artery coming up towards Dodge.
Did he got it. Wonder if I've actually been on that train. So was there at the bottom of the gorge, is the train still there? The wreckage?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't have been recovered. That would have been a pain in the ass to recover.
Yeah.
There's a small river. River might be a strong sense, but there's water running through that gorge. So, to be honest, the bodies were never recovered. It wasn't carrying anything precious as far as the manifests go, though. So there was
just people.
Well, of course that's precious too, but I'm saying anything that could be physically recovered.
So there's no treasure at the bottom of the gorge.
Exactly.
Okay. And so what year is it now? Is it 72? What year is it again?
It is May 24th, 1876.
Okay, so it was what so were you in the railroad business back in 1859, Mr.
Indeed, although a bit younger, more of an engineer back then than a train manager. And that might now, clicks in your mind, explain why he was babbling about, details of the locomotive itself. He could probably fix one of those.
Did you lose some friends on that train?
No, I was up in Pennsylvania at the time.
Okay. Well, I think you got another train to go to, but I had
2 minutes.
Fascinating story. How'd you like to meet me at the gym and or anywhere you want? I'll buy you dinner and a couple whiskeys, and you can tell me a little more, or whatever you choose to drink, coffee, and you can tell me more, because I think a story of this magnitude might be a great lead. I mean, maybe this would even make the Dodge paper. It's been a long time.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, the accident was covered quite well in 1859.
That's a long time from a newspaper perspective. So anyway, you piqued my interest, not in a ghoulish way, and I think I know just the person to ask for some more details about this. About what's been written about it. But yeah, I tell you what, why don't you just think about it, and I'll stop in a day or two, see if you want to follow up, and maybe if you can tell me some other stories about things you've seen and experienced working in the train station. I mean, almost everybody comes through you. By my, I'm trying to butter 'em up a little bit. By my take, you might know more than just about everybody. Maybe even the sheriff.
Well, I do have a lot of contact with people. You think that that's a bit of a lie? He's more in contact with, he's very knowledgeable in what comes in and out of the town.
Mm-hmm.
But not so much probably people. He knows certainly when people have goods being delivered of any scale, because the trains have largely wiped out wagon good services. I mean, it still happens, but the big wagon trains are pretty much done with.
Got it. All right. Well, just to expedite things, I'll basically tell him where he can find me if he wants to take me up on that offer. And if
he makes note of it in the ledger.
Any tip my hat, good day to you. Keep doing the fine work you do, keeping us all on time.
Good day to you. And he almost immediately picks up a blower whistle and blows through it and listens for her and says, "Okay, 5 more minutes for the next train coming in. Make sure the boys are ready with water," and kind of babbles on about water and wood and
all right,
stuff like that.
I will let him babble on. And well, that wasn't as good as I hoped, but I think I'll try to find our new friend, the researcher, and give him a little information. Because as I step out, if I wasn't writing this down, I'm going to immediately go off to the side and write down the details of what he told me about the gorge, the type of locomotive, 1859, Simmons Gorge, trestle, Harkness train, Jackson and Wellington locomotive. So I will let you move to the next bit of action, and I'll basically try to find Edward Tillinghast and see what he thinks.
Alrighty.
See, look, I'm including you. You can be my lackey.
Oh, joy.
Chris,
I pay nothing, but
you are still writing. Are you writing through the night, or are you going to be pausing somewhere?
Pause. No sense of there's not an overt rush to get there, so not dilly-dallying our way there, making good pace, but also not stressing out about getting there in like 24 hours.
Okay. Give me one navigate roll just to make sure you're on the straight and narrow, as it were.
Yeah, 04, so critical success.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
So you roll 04, I roll 94.
You've probably trimmed like 2 hours off the normal ride time or something along those lines. So you're ahead of schedule. Okay, so you start bedding down. As I know we're taking things in slightly different time frames, but I don't think that's a particular issue. Hopefully, Vance and Gustav. So you decided to wait until morning. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were going to wait till morning.
Okay, so
y'all get to sleep in a cabin with me.
That's right.
That's all right. He's the heavy sleeper.
I'm the heavy sleeper.
It's like a slumber party.
Yeah, he'll wake you up.
The Matt heads actually back into he's like, well, there's a couple more hours worth of work left to do. So he starts heading back to the Providence Mine proper. And do you follow? Do you hang out at the house?
I will go ahead and follow just to get some insight on mining itself.
Okay. You see, the mule Jezebel just follows. It seemingly just randomly follows. It's almost like a faithful dog, but it's a mule. And you get back to the mine. The mine is not your classic, big wall, hole in the side, whatever. It's actually, you're kind of on top of a well, you're on a flat, and it just starts kind of going down at an angle. There are two very heavy, almost Clydesdale-esque horses that are rigged to a horizontal spinning wheel. Kind of like in the original Conan the Barbarian, the kids pushing the big wheel thing near the beginning of the film, right? And there's the horses are attached to that. There's some a barn set up and plenty of water and such like that. The horses look very well cared for. But you can see that what the horses are attached to with this wheel thing is obviously some sort of rigging, so that and you can see very heavy hemp rope attached to it going into the mine, and you deduce that must be some way where they're doing cart work, and they load the cart and use the horses to help pull the carts out of the mine to get the material. As far as tailings and such goes, there's a fair amount, kind of all around. But it looks like what they've done is almost categorically, instead of it being just sort of random piles, it's done in long rows and lines, almost looking like fortifications. And as you kind of start to look around, it really does strike you as, wow, this is like a multi-level or layered, with very little additional work. This could turn into a multi a defensible area, where these would be in effect mounts and trenches. And it's pretty extensive. It goes on for quite a while. You hear him just sort of whistling, a slightly off-key whistling. It's not even particularly anything. It's not like Camptown Races or something like that. I don't know. It's just
him whistling his own tune.
Whistling to his own tune. Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, give me a no roll, and tell me your levels of success.
Both of us.
If you're also at the mine as opposed to at the house.
Well, I ain't chopping wood. So.
Fair enough.
There's no wood left to chop. All right.
That's the same as education.
Education, yeah.
I didn't even get it by 10 points.
Ah, okay.
So I have a success. It's a 67 out of 75. So
I got 33 out of 60.
33 out of 60. So both of y'all had normal successes. Okay.
Yeah.
No, you don't recognize the tune at all. And it doesn't take too long before the whistling becomes more hollowed and echoey, and then you basically just don't hear it anymore. You do see some additional ropes and such, smaller ones attached to a set of bells at the front of the slope going down.
Is that like an alarm system where he could pull the rope and someone at the entrance would hear the bells ringing?
Could be. If you all knew anything about mining, I'd be able to tell you that.
But you know Jack and shit.
Could be yeah. I mean, it could be something to pull if there was a cave in or air seam thin. Oh, I need help. Could be just a way to ring a bell to tell the person that it's lunchtime. You don't know. But I want you both to make power rolls for me, please.
Wow. A 0-8.
Wow. Okay.
0-3.
Okay. Next time
Gotta beat me.
Next time I ask you all to do power rolls, please remind me of your level of success that you just had. And basically, if I don't remember, you'll be able to roll your next power rolls at advantage.
Okay. I guess I'm going to survey the surrounding area and see exactly how well these trenches move about, and also kind of keep an eye out for a big horse.
Okay, yeah, that's probably reasonable as well.
A big creepy horse.
So you all get up onto, or well, not necessarily get up. Well, I don't know. Do you scale? Come up to the top of these things. I mean, the piles are at least 10 feet high. I mean, the rows.
I'll scale up one just to see, get an overview.
Sure.
Of them
Okay.
all.
First thing that strikes you is this isn't even just sort of haphazard, just sort of dumping rock kind of thing. Some relative skill was done to make sure that they're quite stable, which is impressive and would require a lot of effort. I mean, just
packing and everything else. Yeah.
So you both kind of scale to the top of one of these ridges and kind of look around, and the extent of this these aren't I mean, it is clearly tailings from the mine, but the precision and such, you can tell that some of it was blasted. Matter of fact, you can look and you can see partial boreholes, and then where dynamite was there and blew it apart. So there's a partial kind of drill point and such like that. Give me a scan roll.
19 out of what is my scan? 58. So
Okay.
a hard success.
And how about you, Gustav?
26 out of 59. I think that's a regular success.
Just barely a regular success, right? You scan about, Vance, and not only do you get first of all the impression again that this could absolutely serve as almost a military readout kind of thing, right? A place where one could, if one had the soldiers for it, right? This would be a very good, very difficult place to take. Now, there is no indication outside of the if you will, fortifications themselves that there's a lot of people here. There's no particular structures. You haven't noticed any large road or even big trails coming in to the area yet. Nothing along those lines. Nothing to indicate that there's like 100 guys, whatever, hiding in the mine or something. There's no indication of anything like that. But as you look at the rocks, you're not sure. You'd need to somehow get up higher, but you have a feeling that there's some sort of pattern.
That's what I was looking for, was trying to determine if there was a pattern to these. Because this didn't look haphazard. This looked like it was done with some effort.
Yeah. So you think that there's a pattern. You just can't get high enough to see it.
Perhaps if I was standing on top of the roof of the barn?
That may give you a sufficient view. unfortunately, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons. You can't polymorph into being a bird or anything wacky like
No,
that.
no.
But, if you want, you can attempt to get up onto the barn. The barn's certainly higher than just standing on the tailings. So
Yeah. I will try to climb up said barn.
indeed, it would be a climb roll.
Oh. And this is where I'm probably going to use
Yeah, be careful. My medicine is only 1%.
a red chip, which will give me the plus 20.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And then I will spend a luck point to succeed.
Okay, a little, whoa. Yeah, you thought this would been a lot easier, but
It's not one you want to miss. That's for
It
sure.
looked easy.
And
Oh
you
my
get
God, I
off the
forgot I'm
roof,
afraid of
and the
heights.
tin roof. It's a little slippier than you thought it would be. It's actually in pretty good condition. It's a little ouchy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you finally kind of, you get.
So we have a Vance on a hot tin roof.
That's right.
Scramble.
But you finally kind of get there, and you get to a part of the roof where there's perhaps there's a what do you call this, a wind vein.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Rooster cock.
find some purchase there, as it were, and kind of get up a little bit, teeter tottering a little bit, but you get up and give me another scan roll now. Now that you've changed your point of view, you're up higher.
It is a success. It is not a big success. It was a 46 out of what is my scan? Shit.
But a success, correct?
Yeah, success. Yeah, so 46 out of 58. So.
All right, let's see. I'm going to draw on. I need more light. Hold on.
The marshal disappeared.
I'm sore.
There we go. Let's see. Let's go to camera number 2. I hit the right button. I realized I haven't been playing music in the background.
Oh.
All right, so that's kind of where you were, right? So let's find my hand. Right here. Okay, so there you are in a barn. The mine going down into the ground. Little circular thing with some ropes going into there. And you're looking off into the tailings. Never good when the keeper's looking at something, right?
I'm sure it's a smiley face.
Oh. Oh.
Then looking over here.
It's a zither?
Okay, so that now looking that way. I'll draw it smaller just so it's in view, right? But it's much bigger. I wasn't expecting you to get to this part.
Ah.
Looking another direction.
You should just really stay in town. I think it's safer.
Yeah.
Be sharp.
And then over this direction, almost looks like a Star Trek emblem.
Is a Star Trek.
That's what you see. And the scale of these is quite large. Each of these sort of formations are at least, like the first one I drew is more or less to scale.
Okay.
Right? So if that little thing is a barn, right, this is maybe 200 yards wide and another 200 long. You get the feeling that also there's more fortifications almost directly to the left, but it's kind of too far away to noodle out
To
the
make
battle.
out. Yeah. Are there any more higher vantage points that I can see in the general area?
Negatory.
Okay. Since I'm up that, I'll kind of scan also after I've noticed all these. I'll be like, all right, I'll try to slowly pull out the little notepad that I have and the charcoal.
Right.
Kind of sketch them roughly.
That goes so well.
Yeah. They probably wind up looking something like that.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, we won't have to do a roll on that. I mean, if you're, just sort of a kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as you're sketching this out, I assume you point out to Gustav, see over there how it kind of bends this way, and Gustav, once Vance kind of points out one of them, you're like, oh wait, yeah, I totally get it now, and you start seeing these absolute deliberate patterns, as well, and Vance, you pretty much notice though that these symbols, if you will, these fortifications, these whatever
works of art
are cardinal to where the entrance of the mine is.
All right.
So just out of character, are these sort of square cut trenches, almost like a stereotypical sort of World War I trench where it's like, 6 feet deep and sort of rectangular?
Yeah, but you'd want to almost invert it. So it's not that they cut it into the ground.
Oh, these are earthen sort of berms.
Yeah. So this would be more Civil War style.
Okay. I always picture them as cut into the earth. They're actually raised.
Yeah, so they're pilings of rock, kind of,
Okay. Almost like cairns, but in.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just keep an eye out for the horse.
Okay. Give me a scan.
A 40.
Okay. You do not see the horse.
All right. Then I will carefully, by going to my butt,
right?
Since it's a tin roof and I'm wearing chaps, I can probably just kind of control my slide down and get to the edge and kind of hop down from there.
Sure.
I will make whatever a dex roll for.
Yeah, give me a dex roll. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. 53 out of God. My dex is godly 90.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, you get down. No other, no whistlings. No. You occasionally hear a noise come from the mine, but the Matt's doing something down there.
Yep. All right. I guess if there was any other work that we needed to do up here, we'll.
It only occurs to you. I mean, at this point, you kind of look at the horses like, well, maybe we should, put a little water into the trough or whatever. Just, very, very straightforward sort of,
horse stuff.
Yeah, 15 minutes worth of, just sort of,
horsing around.
Yeah,
Horsing around, yeah.
that's right.
And if that's the case, then afterwards I will go and brush and take care of my horse.
Sure, that makes sense. Okay, back to Coldwater. Dr. Trout, is there anything you're looking forward to do? I know you're still on call for what's her face, and a matter of fact, let's see if that's. Nope, not today. But you do remember that there's a birthing that you're kind of on call for right now.
I'm sorry. Wasn't there someplace like the didn't the doctor have something locked up that I couldn't get into? There's some cabinet or something that was not accessible to me.
No, you had a cabinet that you were putting stuff in, but
I thought there was something that was his that I wasn't not able to access. All right, well, I've done what I can to prepare for the. I guess I could ride out to the ranch, but I mean, where are we in the day? But I need to be nearby because the lady's gonna have a baby, right?
Oh, to go look at the farmhouse that you have, the ranch thing. Yeah, I mean it's not too terribly far away. It's probably on horse 20-minute horse ride.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, if I got time in the day, I'll go run. I'll just ride out there.
Okay, you leave a note on the door, I assume.
Is Larrabee around town?
Last you know, both Larrabee and Tungas are.
All right. Well, I'll see if those guys want to come along and check out the ranch house that my uncle bought.
Absolutely.
It was the. Let's see. Let me refer to my copious notes here, which I use, which I take using an electronic tool called Word.
Huh.
Mr. Journalist. I've got. I wonder if this is the right notes. But yeah, actually, Tillinghast, you're the one that gave me the information about the people that the people in the neighboring farm didn't.
Yep.
Check in. So let's go check out my house, and then we'll say hello to the neighbors, and I'll introduce myself as their new neighbor, and if there's anything amiss, we can set it right.
Sounds good.
It's gonna make us all feel bad about how much stuff you have and how we have nothing.
Well,
Okay,
if it makes you feel any better, I can call you my servant.
Mark, why don't you give me a dumb luck roll just to see if you're kind of, unless Doctor, you are deliberately seeking out.
I am seeking them both out.
I was deliberately seeking out
I'm bored.
Edward, so.
All right.
And I made my dumb luck anyway.
Oh, you may. Okay. All right. So, you were easily to be found.
We're going on an adventure.
Yay.
All right.
Okay. So,
tell me Tillinghast has a decent horse.
You pretty much work until about 3:00 in the afternoon. And you're largely wrapped up for a day anyway. So, it being about 4. Sure, you got evenings wide open, no problem.
I'll leave a note where I am because I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor. Okay, and
but he's not a miracle worker.
I guess you two agree to go with the good doctor.
All right. So
yeah, and I wanted to.
What do you ride? You don't ride a donkey, do you?
I have a normal horse. I'm pretty good at riding him.
I have a large donkey.
Name is Tingaleo.
Who has a gas problem? Well, then you ride in the back.
No, I think that's you. I think you're just blaming the donkey. So I would like to kill two birds with one stone and get to know Edward a little bit better and tell him about this interesting story, an interesting situation I had with the station manager, Tom Cogburn, about old 59 that involved the deaths of, in 1859, that involved the deaths of about 40 to 50 people going into the Simmons Gorge, and how.
Mark, you're kind of quiet.
All right, sorry, I moved my microphone back. So anyway, I want to tell Edward about Simmons Gorge, old 59, Tom Cogburn, and how I think it'd be a good research project because he acted really strange and really guarded when he talked about it, and then he's a guarded, then he acted really strange. and it's a pretty big tragedy involving 40 people, 40 or 50 deaths. So
Sure, if there's
not
information to be found, I can probably find it.
yeah, and we
So-
can kind of develop it, go from there.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of your head, you certainly know there was a train accident, that kind of thing. But insofar as hyper details of it, but you can certainly take some notes on what Walt gives you, and that can lead you to. Edward, I do not have your current SAN on my sheet. What is your sanities?
What was
Well, I don't have it either. What's sanity normally?
23.
it?
Gotta
Be
be
nice.
the-
26.
Sanity starts as your pal.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Your sanity is your pal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
70?
so 70, yeah. And your magic points is your
Pal divided by 5.
yeah, that sounds it's your hard
So-
time.
14.
Got it. Duly noted.
Yeah. Okay, so you start writing off. Now the property in question, I believe, is I don't remember if it's west, east, or whatever here, so I gotta scroll. Well, once I remember that, it doesn't matter. So you continue on your ride heading towards the inherited property. And sure enough, it's in the scale of 1876. It's just outside of the town, right? A short 20-minute horse ride. Sounds long, but really, back then that
I consider it a retreat from the hustle and bustle of the main town. when I need a little bit of relaxation and calmness in my life.
it is definitely, though,
And
not
opium can't provide.
not a difficult ride, and somewhat pleasant, actually.
Okay.
All right.
So what's it
And
look like?
eventually you get there, and so it's it's off your standard sort of oh man,
Did you wet
Right.
yourself again?
burning wood and got splinters. And I think I just jammed my finger with a splinter. Yay!
How did that make you feel?
Pain. just general. It's not no anguish, just plain old pain.
Just the regular kind.
And you get as a sort of winding, relatively well used trail, for lack of a better word. It's not so much a road, but it's a trail. It's good enough for wagons, so it's better than a trail. It's
So it serves more than just my ranch.
and as you kind of approach to the marker for your homestead, as you get close to it, you notice that the property before your property, if you will, nobody's done any the winter wheat has not been harvested, which is odd.
Oh dear.
Well, that's unusual.
All right. Well, I've got my medical bag, but I would imagine it's been a long time. But there could be plague or something, which is something we need to be attentive to. All right. Well, I don't think. What was the last time they were heard that they checked in? Was it a few weeks ago or was it a few months ago? Or when does the winter harvest come in? I mean, what's my sense?
Winter harvest should be actually should be in mid-harvest right now. So it wouldn't surprise you that you haven't seen them for a while because they should be harvesting.
But they're not.
But it does not appear as they are. Now maybe the you don't off the top of your head know how large the property is. Typically, these kind of properties are 40 or 80 acres, but if theirs is more extensive, perhaps they just have not had a chance to get to this portion of the farm yet.
Okay. So let's. What do you think? What do you think, gents? Should we check out the abandoned, or should we check out the unattended homestead, or should we check out the ranch house first?
Ranch house.
Okay.
Yeah, we could tie up our horses. How far is it? Like a short? Is it a walk from one to the other, or is it?
Well, you know that your property sits on 80 acres. And typically the houses, and this one included, is sort of smack dab in the center of the 80.
So no.
Yeah, so I mean, is it from a 21st century point of view, short walk? No. From a 1800 short walk, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but it's probably best to have the horses with us just in case.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's check out the ranch house real quick.
Okay, so you're going to your ranch house.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why we're here.
Okay, so you go up to, in effect, the next sort of colored post. It's just a painted post that marks the split off, and the split off is, well, it's very similar to the quote unquote road that you've been on. Largely just very, very packed soil, a bit of gravel here and there, but not much. It's just incredibly packed in soil via 50 or 60 odd years of steel covered wagon wheel compressing the crap out of the dirt.
Okay.
And you start heading over. Now, your property was not planted this past year, so it's largely just hay. In effect, is starting to grow. So you could certainly hire somebody to, even hay is, that is a viable crop, to be sure. Not a very exciting crop. You're not going to, quote unquote, be self-sufficient off of it. You have no need to. But it could be harvested and used, absolutely. And it's not even really a winding road so much, but there's a couple little S turns kind of here, just avoiding. Some turns don't make any sense to you, but that's usually there was once a big ass tree there, so it went around the tree. Tree died off. Nobody ever bothered to straighten the road. That's why all of Virginia roads are so fucked up, right? It's the exact same thing. And you eventually get to your house. Yay.
Is it cozy? Is it quaint?
No, it is surprisingly large, actually. Do I have a picture of it? I might have a picture of it. Nah, I don't have a picture of it, but I have a layout of it. So what you see is at least 2 stories, main floor and upper floor. It is pretty significantly large. You just eyeballing, just seeing the windows up front, it's got a large L-shaped porch in the front. So it's a porch and kind of L's off to the side. You see a mud room. You see what almost a deck back beyond that. Second floor has at least 4 windows, so you can surmise 2, maybe 3 bedrooms wide. This was a large family farmhouse of a fairly well-to-do family as well.
Who just left?
The home is in pretty good condition. which is nice. Maybe a little touch up of paint here and there, that sort of thing, but otherwise, it looks in good, solid condition. There's an attendant barn, and you see an outhouse. Although the outhouse looks a little disused, which, if it has internal wash closet, that's wow. Not running water probably in the wash closet,
Fancy.
but the fact that there's a little separate rooms with chamber pots. Hey, pretty cool.
That's
Live in
better than
Mars.
Gustav's ever had in his whole life.
Let's see
Do I
here.
get my own chamber pot?
What
Or
we
have
can
to
get to
share?
keep Gustav from pooping in the corner.
There's not much you can do about that.
You also see indications off to the left. There's a small, you can surmise a chicken coop of some sort, with a fenced-in area. But you also notice that the fenced-in area for the chicken coop does have a fairly large gate to it, and you notice the chicken coop is on two wooden runners, so it can be moved. And that's about what you see for now.
All right. Let's go check out the main house.
Okay. You go up to the front. It's a porch, kind of running sort of an L-shaped thing, big double doors going into the main house. And what I will simply do, you take, your time kind of going through the abode, and you're pretty impressed, actually. You're like, wow, this doesn't suck at all. This is pretty good, and I'm just going to send the floor out layout to everybody.
Sure. It's like our clubhouse, except you guys all get to sleep in the barn.
Well, I assume you'd at least invite them over.
Well, no, they can come in for supper. Okay, got it.
But anyway, that's the farmhouse. So it's significant. The image to the right is the second floor.
All
So
right.
it does not suck to be Dr. Trout.
No, it definitely doesn't suck. I mean, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, some fairly significant storage, screened-in porch, mud rooms, 4 bathrooms, or, well, again, wash closets.
So Edward, were you able to figure? So apparently, the people that lived here before had abandoned it or left suddenly.
Yes, they'd moved on.
And so, do they take their possessions with them? I guess, Marshall.
Yeah. Well, typically people will take,
I mean, valuables, obviously.
valuables and stuff. Certainly, but by this time, now that the trains are available, people have a tendency of taking more sort of personal stuff, but depending on what they were paid, in other words, like when you go into the kitchen, the iron stove is still there.
Right.
50 years prior or even 30 years prior, people would drag that shit with them because it was almost impossible to get otherwise. But now, commodity goods like that are a little bit more commonly, one can purchase as opposed to bring with you from the East Coast kind of thing. There is some furniture, bed frames, things like that, but you would have to supply like a dining room table, that sort of stuff would be more something that you would have to outfit. But you do see, there are some chairs, there are some smaller tables here and there. As I say, there are bed frames, and some of the bed frames do have mattresses on them. Most of the linen is not there. That was taken.
Okay.
There's a little bit of food in the larder. Looks like a lot of
Might be
mystery
okay.
cans. The labels have kind of peeled off over the last.
It's brand Sal Manila.
Or at the very least, okay, it's probably a vegetable. Let's open up and find out.
The mystery meat.
But actually, back then it was actually more glass yard stuff, not so much cans. So you can kind of get a feeling. Oh, okay. There's various preserves and such like that.
Edward, did you say the people who lived here before, were they renting and they moved on, or?
If you don't recall, I can fill that in for you.
Yeah, fill it in. I have to look at my notes on different.
Yeah. No, they fairly well to do. They had the house built, and supposedly, after staying there a good 15 odd years, had a proverbial offer that couldn't be refused further west, and
so nothing that screams nefarious or unusual.
Just sold the house and moved on.
So no tragedy.
No.
Okay. So we'll go all the way up to the attic. Check from top to bottom. See if there's anything unusual.
Where's that suitcase full of diamonds?
Where's the burlap bag that has just the money symbol on it?
You need to get a.
So, short of doing a spot hidden everywhere, you certainly can.
I was actually thinking of looking specifically near doors and windows for any kind of arcane symbols.
Okay,
specifically, but it's probably a waste of time since it seems like they just left. There's nothing weird about it, no weird vibe. But yeah, while they're looking around the house, I will, at least on the ground floor, I will search for anything unusual, particularly that would seem to be supernatural. Because we've been seeing little, whatever that society is, the Masons.
Masons.
We've been finding all sorts of weird things inscribed around. So I think I'll.
Sure. A common place to look there would be on the inside or on the flip side of the main fireplace.
Sure.
Oftentimes there'd be family symbols or Masonic or other organizations sort of symbols there.
Symbols that might represent alternative institutions, shall we say?
Well, it wasn't just the Masons. There are other fraternal orders and such like that exist at the time.
Sure. So I will. While they're searching the house, sort of going through the house, I'm going to kind of stop on the first floor and do that sort of thing. Search for anything that looks, that could be, basically anything that looks out of the way, like it's inscribed or etched anywhere, because we keep running into that. So figured I'd take a look.
Sure. Okay. Roll me.
Cry me a river. Spot hidden.
Yeah. Give me 3 consecutive spot hiddens.
Is it for all of us or just him?
Nope. 05.
Well, if anybody else is doing anything more than
I only made one, but it was my second one was a 05.
Okay, so your second one was good. All right.
It was a second one was critical. The other two I missed.
Do you want us to still roll or not bother?
It depends on whether you're doing some sort of detailed searching or whether you're just kind of.
Right.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Let's jump on the bandwagon. All right, go for it. Maybe you'll find something I didn't.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I'll burn some luck. Just succeed.
What are you gonna find? you're gonna find a nickel.
Also, my second roll was a success, but 2 of them failed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got 83, and then 40. One above. I had to burn two.
Just to get to somewhere. Okay, so
down to 65.
around
I could have.
the house. I mean, yes, you find things, but nothing is triggering that spidey sense. No, floorboards that pop up and there's a
The red room.
Yeah. Nothing seems to be deliberately concealed. You haven't found anything where, geez, when I'm in this room, it only seems this wide, but when I'm over here, it's this wide. There seems like there's a space here. Nothing along those
Or a
lines.
cold spot. It's like 20 degrees colder in this
Yeah,
archway.
exactly. Yeah, nothing along those lines.
Ah.
Why are the walls bleeding?
You're
That's-
you're
that could
actually
mean
kind of
anything.
like, hey, this is pretty nice.
pretty normal. How weird.
We're playing Call of Cthulhu, right? I mean, we're in a big house. There's
I have a nice feeling. I'm gonna have a family here. This is,
yeah,
this
it's
is a nice place.
it's actually one of those things where you're like, wow, yeah, so you're getting a pretty good feeling about the place, and it is, I say, it's definitively designed where you get the feeling that, the kitchen is of a big enough whatever, and the amount of water closets, you get the feeling that it was probably the family as well as probably a ranch hand or two living in the house. So, but yeah, looks pretty nice.
Okay, so is there any place that I can try to do my hunch thing? Do you think? Like the family bed, the marital bed, or the someplace. Nothing that looks like they left in a hurry.
Well, in theory, I mean, you can use the hunch thing on anything, but as I say, until something kind of trips off that's like, what do you focus in on? I mean, you could touch a windowsill and go,
if there's some sort of indication of something traumatic, or the a torn page from the family Bible, that's the kind of stuff that would be good to sort of.
We didn't find anything. We didn't get anything hinky. It seems like a really, wow, you got lucky. This is a really nice place.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was similar to the bank. There was nothing weird about the bank. It was just a bank that's no longer being used and had its vault door pulled.
Okay. All right. Well, I probably could use. All right. So let's just do a quick tour of the grounds, lock back up, and then I'll jot down some notes on what I need to get it livable. Probably need a housekeeper and a cook.
Yeah. At least one home attendant of some sort.
And a cabana boy, of course.
And okay, so you head out. You check the other doors, make sure they're all working, make sure your keys are all appropriate and such. And they seem good. I say nothing fancy on the locks. These are barely above skeleton lock style keys, right? These aren't slidge 8 tumbler anything. These are sort of basic.
And there's no place to. So there's also no place to store anything sensitive. I mean, I guess I could put it in a closet or something, but there's no if I had a housekeeper. So I'm thinking, if I had a housekeeper and I had a room I didn't want the housekeeper to go into, is there a room that would logically make sense, or is it just a house and there's nothing?
Yeah. I mean, you could rig up something. Certainly, the attic. You could probably put a door that would lead up to the stairs to the attic, and sort of secure that off. When you were up in the attic, it was it's a non-braced ceiling, so it's there's various support walls and such like that coming off the second floor and such. So there's certainly room to lay down some extra wood and there was a fair amount of wood up there anyway. Most people didn't have just empty attics just because that's a waste of space, and that's a recent thing that Americans can afford to waste. Back then, that was where you stored a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And so hence why there's stairways to the attic as opposed to some sort of pull down or a little fucking hole that you gotta get a ladder and climb up to.
Sounds
right?
like, sounds like
one he
there's a
had.
little personal story there, Aaron.
But let's take the okay. All right, so let's lock it back up. Like I said, take some notes on how many bed sheets I need, how many mattresses I need to purchase, etc.
Sure.
Are there pots and pans or anything, or do they all get taken?
I'll be right back.
So yeah, you take various notes. I mean, as I say, depending on how you want to do it, you could go up to 6 bedrooms here, non-shared. If the sharing was needed, several of the rooms are more than amply large enough where 2 people could be in and be quite comfortable.
6 bedrooms, huh? That's very convenient.
Well, that would include the downstairs sort of study that's kind of off the kitchen and porch kind of area. That would include that so. It's really 5 bedrooms and a study.
All right.
But,
I know Larrabee likes to spoon, so I think he's
so kind of going outside.
I'm always the big spoon, though.
So you find a well as well as a cistern. You find a second 1-story sort of long barn, probably more to store hay or other farm good, as opposed to a barn where you'd have horse stalls and stuff like that.
Where do I keep my horses?
Well, there's a barn off to the
to
the right of the house.
Okay.
A classic horse barn.
Okay.
But as I say, there was a secondary, a 1-story barn where again more for hay or corn or in a pinch you could swap it out and have like pigs or something like that, and it'd be a nice pigsty area, that kind of thing.
Pigs.
As I say, there's a cistern. So the water from the roof of the house is collected into the gutters, and you can shift the basically valves on the gutters to dump water into a cistern as a secondary water catchment. And there's a hand pump out there for that. And then there's a standard well, and it's very classic. You drop the fucking bucket and pull water up.
Dry, or is there water in there?
It's still in season. Yeah, there's still plenty of water.
Okay. All right. Well, so we've checked this out. Where daylight's burning. Let's head over to the abandoned house.
Oh,
okay. So you start heading over there.
We'll be polite, and we will go up to the road, cut over, and then go up their main road in case someone's watching.
Okay. So you're not going to try to get cross country. I mean, the odds pretty good. They're separated somewhere by a barbed wire fence, probably. So,
yeah, and rifle fire. So let's try
putting in a minefield
and a hunter in a trap somewhere.
Okay. So we will head over.
But yeah, you're almost out of daylight. Christopher, you have gotten to the end of your ride. You figure you'll be in Etna, assuming you wake up, at dawn, right? There's no reason to dilly-dally from there. You think you'd probably get to Etna by noon. You're making very good time. You tracked very well. And so you bed down for the evening. Give me... Are you a heavy sleeper as well?
No.
No, okay. I think that's just Vance, right?
Yep.
Good for him.
Okay. So
Oh.
let's see here. Trying to think what would be a sort of a spidey sense, a something that might wake you up from your sleep. What do you think?
Good question. I'm not sure. Power?
Yeah, I would either say it's power or it has to do with con, or it would be half con and what your
Yeah, I guess it'd be something along those lines. Because yeah, I don't. Hold on. No, survival.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the way to go. So
Yeah,
roll your
just get
survival. I know your streetwise is your
Focus.
direct focus, but roll your survival.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a 4.
A 0-4.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very good. So you're you bedded down. You made some whatever bean soup and bean and hawk or something along those lines. Not hawk, but the cut of pig, uh, ham hock, and you kind of wake up around midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and your companion is not sleeping well. He's first thing you notice. I mean, you've certainly seen plenty of people, late at night. The moon is a little overcast and waning right now. He looks strangely pale. Um, give me a scan roll.
A success. Nothing special.
Okay, nothing crazy. Looking at him in the moonlight, boy, that guy seems a lot older than what he looked like when he was at, even just during your ride. It wasn't even just at the mine, but just during your ride. This dude seems, it might be just the light, whatever, but oof. And he seems to be muttering to himself. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy's old, right? But he seems a little, deeper sunken cheeks, that sort of thing. And he's clearly having maybe not a full blown nightmare, but a.
I'm in the driveway picking up the garbage cans.
Okay.
Hey, make sure
can
she
you
gets
pull
the
up the
garbage
steak?
cans, puts the
The
tops
dog
on.
steak, because they're gonna mow the lawn tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll pull up the steak.
And so he starts kind of lightly mumbling to himself. We're not the ones, but the 6 is calling, and we'll be there and ready. He seems. It's almost like an elation, like a preacher talking about his vision, but he's talking about it when he's asleep. And he keeps talking about the 6, kind of over and over again. But he's not the one. But he'll be there for the 6. Ready to protect the 6. Hoping that all the 6 will come together before the seal moves on. Then he seems to settle back down into a sort of a standard dream. And he doesn't mumble any further. And the complexion kind of comes back to his face a little bit.
That's odd. I don't think that'll be a subject of conversation, but good to note.
kill him.
Otherwise, the evening for you passes, relatively speaking, uneventfully. There's some coyotes and stuff like that, just, but that's just sort of standard. You stoke the fire again, that keeps that kind of crap away. And, otherwise, the night passes without an issue. Okay, Gustav moved on, so let's go back to the farmhouse. So you head back down your driveway. I don't know.
Yes, making
Yep,
no
that's
sudden
fine.
motions.
I guess I don't know. I don't know what they called them back then. Whatever.
So did you say this? You own 80 acres. Is this like
160.
a homestead on your property or like adjacent?
Adjacent, I think.
Yeah, it's adjacent. So the property that Dr. Trout's house is on is 160 acres. So it's basically it's 440-acre cuts in a small checkerboard, basically. So,
Sucks to be you. Yeah.
well, 160 acres. You got to remember, ranches back then were, some ranches were 4,000 or 5,000 acres. So, 160 acres, although certainly enough to keep a family, in business as farmers, is not an immense amount of land. It's
All right. Except they don't always have 6-bedroom houses. Though.
Well, that's true. Well, you'd be surprised. Families back then were also really big.
Larrabee, how many bedrooms did the house you grew up in have?
12.
Then
Grew
put
up
your
in
bets.
I came from a wealthy family, the Baltimore Larrabees.
If one has wealth and gives it away and loses, squanders it, shouldn't be jealous.
I didn't squander it; it was taken from me. But that's another story.
That's another story. That's true. So you go down the driveway. Sure, we'll call it a driveway. I forget how long
Boulevard.
40-acre square patch would be, but whatever.
It's a couple 100 yards.
Yeah, several 100 yards. You go down, you hang a basically left-hand turn. You go a good at least twice that distance to get to another left-hand turn to go back up to the other property. You head up. So the first possibility, which was perhaps the family is harvesting another section of their property. Okay. You don't see anything being harvested. So it's not like they just hadn't worked the bottom 40 yet or whatever. We got nothing, which is concerning. But, and so eventually you, again, the occasional turn and saying nothing's ever straight. But eventually you get to a house. Now, this house is not as nice as yours.
It's modest, like the poor people.
It's okay, but it is not this big, extensive thing that yours is.
Right.
Moderate compared to large, right? Now it is well appointed. You recall, Edward, you recall now, it's like, the Strasses, you remember that guy was one lucky bastard.
Okay.
You didn't indulge a whole lot in poker or anything along those lines. You're in a small town. You probably certainly did some. But you recall, watching him not necessarily win every night, but he certainly won a lot more than he lost. And, he just seemed to be one lucky fellow as far as that goes.
Okay.
If Gustav was here, Gustav would remember this guy. This guy was one of the few people that Gustav would not be wasn't able to beat and would just simply not play poker with him anymore.
Basically, he cheats better than me, and I'm really offended by that.
Well, you're also good at noting cheats, right?
Because I cheat.
Well, you might
It's a professional
embellish, enhance, but you also know, certainly if you play enough with a person, you can also start figuring out, in what way that person might be cheating, and you were never able to figure it out with this guy. You didn't think he was a good card player. It's just he just had the luck. He just, when he just needed that one flip, god damn if he didn't get it. It wasn't something planned out. It wasn't, it's just you know the numbers. You know how to calculate the numbers. The odds of him getting, the jack or whatever on this is, whatever. And just over and over again, he just seemed to beat the odds. But you're not here.
That's what you would have thought.
I wasn't
Never there when you need me.
Wasn't expecting to get to this part, but that's okay.
We're all like, let's move purposefully in different directions. No, don't you want to talk to the bartender? Nope, I want to keep moving towards the target. Oh,
that's right. Don't want to do that. Oh, okay.
Let's mess with Aaron tonight.
Wait, there's a storm and you can't go forward.
I think I'm going to walk over here and stick my dick in this electric socket.
That's
it's
Tuesday.
He's got notes for that.
Yeah, I got a lot of notes. So farmhouse. There's somewhat very similar to yours insofar as the layout goes, or not the house layout, but insofar as the stuff around the house, right?
Well, the cistern, the
yeah. So there's a stable. There's a barn, which is different than a stable, right? Barn is where you're drying hay and where you have whatever. Then you have a stable, which is where the horses are in their, in their stables, and might be where you do some care. So you have an outhouse. You have, the farmhouse itself, that sort of thing. You get the impression that for the most part, this property would grow corn, but sometimes you can sneak in winter wheat really early off if you have a good sort of warm early spring, and get a double harvest out of your property, which is sort of bonus. Yay! This is for Department of Agriculture.
I'd like to make my farming roll to see if this is an active farm.
Sure.
You have
my farming roll is 0.
Right.
I'm going to roll for a 0-1.
Go for a 0-1. Is there actually there should be a farming actually. I mean, that is in the right time. Whatever. But whatever.
I'm not a farmer. I'm a city person. I could burn 12 luck to make it, but I will burn 12 luck and get myself a 1, which is just enough to make it.
Do you really?
No, I guess.
No, okay, all right, okay.
I figured I'd get some points in it if I actually made it. So I'd probably get half them, but long term it might work out for me.
Odds are you'd fail.
That's right, and you still fail. And if you're metagaming to get a check off on a skill, I will probably say, and you still fail on your improvement.
Actually, the thing that's keeping me from doing it is my fear of what we're going to face in the house and my desire to keep my mojo strong.
So do you get off your horses and?
Yeah. So does it look like? So probably if this guy passed unexpectedly, then his chickens would be dead. His horse would be tied up and dead in the barn. So that's probably the first indication that something is amiss. We'll go around.
That the smell coming from the house of the corpse.
Well, that's something that doesn't bother me like it bothers you guys.
No, I'm just saying that's a good clue that something's wrong.
So if it's not too far, we'll tie up our horses by the front post. Is that all right with you guys, or you want to?
Yeah.
I don't want to ride around the guy's house if he is around and
Okay, there is a horse post to do standard tie off. No problem.
We'll tie off the horses and walk around the house. Hello, Mister. Do we know his name?
Yeah. I gave you all the notes I had.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't write it down. I got Mr. F.
Oh, okay. Well, give me a second.
Sorry. But I will type it in using this miraculous.
Strauss.
He owns that house. Do you think he can be bothered with details when he has minions like you to do it for him? Come on.
I don't know. Nobody
Strauss.
else.
Brandon Strauss.
What's his name? Strauss?
Yeah, Brandon Strauss.
All right, Mr. Strauss.
Okay, you start calling out, and listening. No replies. Everybody give me a listen roll. Everybody that's there, give me a listen roll.
11 miles away. Chris perks up.
Yeah. Wait, what is that here?
Okay.
8. So I made it.
Okay.
I could, however, burn 55 luck points and make it. But I think I'm not going to.
No, I could burn 10 to make it, but I don't.
Okay, so it sounds like Edward, you're the only one who made it.
Yeah.
Would you stop whistling, Larrabee? You throw me off.
Okay, and
Nonstop.
you just had the base in that, correct?
Yeah, I rolled an 8, so that gives me a.
So that's still a hard success.
Yeah, it is a hard success.
All right.
And remember, it's all about the base.
No
Okay. They're calling out, and and now you don't hear any callbacks. You don't hear any animal noises. So I'd like for you to. Oh boy, if only. No, okay, I can't say that.
Only the gunslingers were here.
Wait a minute. We got the doctor, the talker, and the researcher.
Yeah,
What could go wrong?
The doctor's really
I
good.
ain't bad with the gun, so
I'm not terrible.
I just don't need to use my pistol.
We don't have sack tapper
three
with
holes
us.
in the thing's forehead before I get to shoot. So.
Edward, give me a percentile roll. I don't want to tell you what you're rolling against.
okay.
I don't want to tip you off on anything.
44.
44. Okay. You smell in the air. Something's recently burnt.
Okay.
Like some wood has burnt somewhere. Looking out in the skyline, though, you don't see it. You don't see a trail of smoke as like there was a campfire or something. But there's a smell down in the air, which I'm painfully aware of because I've been burning.
Gentlemen, I smell something. It smells like a fire or something was burning.
Yeah, it's more of a smoky smell, but of a wood smoky something or other. Not like a mesquite, not like a cooking.
Okay.
Smoking, right. More just some timber somewhere has burnt at some point in time recently to the point where there's still a smell in the air. That's about as best as
Smells like something recently burnt. I can smell a little something.
No.
And then can you tell what direction it's coming from?
No. Nothing real distinct, just something. It could be nothing. It could have been. It could be the neighbors yet further up. It is May. It's a little late in the year to be doing a fire for warmth in a house, but maybe they're cooking up something in in their stoves, and the winds just caught it the right direction to waft this way.
Perhaps he's burning a pile of old pine.
That's
He has no
right.
use-
Bodies.
or real fresh wet pine. But anyway,
Okay.
Well,
So let's
seems very suspicious around here.
So unless we can identify where it's coming from, let's carry on checking out the barn and the chicken coop. Do they have a chicken coop too?
There's a chicken coop.
Goat shed or a pig shed?
Are there animals, dead animals, no animals,
There,
bloody
there,
remnants?
there are no animals. No chickens, no pigs, no horses, no stray dog run around, no cats.
That's just weird.
You don't see any.
I mean, this
You know,
could
the
be.
barn's there, yes,
So
but
you
you
got
don't see any fodder.
Well, if they
You know,
moved out, it's I
rolled
mean,
up.
No,
You
this
don't.
is
True.
This is
You
the
don't
neighbor who's
see any bales of hay. You know,
This guy-
around the chicken coop, you don't even see chicken poop on the ground.
that's unusual.
Yes.
So is it barren, like it's been stripped, or is it just like nobody farmed it last year?
Is what Baron stripped. I mean, the house looks normal.
No, I mean like the farmyard. Does it look like it was like everything was removed, or it just looks like it wasn't farmed last year? That's why we don't see anything. And
Yeah. I mean, certainly could be that, you know, as far as, you know, chickens and no chicken poop, you know, maybe they just didn't run chickens. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, from what you said, this guy was a gambler. Did he make a living as a gambler? I don't know the guy. Did he make a living as a gambler? Edward, you've been in town for a little while, haven't you?
He was really lucky, like
I mean,
unusually lucky.
Yeah, he certainly walked away from the table with money. Yeah.
Maybe he didn't need to farm because he'd made enough gambling.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know, like he's like you know, he owns a farm. Maybe he was a farmer at some point, but then he became proficient enough at gambling that he didn't need to mess with it. Farm is a lot of work.
It is.
The fields are planted with winter wheat, though.
Oh, okay. That's right. You said that. I missed that. So
I say we go. I say we go inside.
So
Yeah.
so did we go into the stable? There was nothing in there. In the barn.
Correct. Yeah, it's
there's no plow.
There's equipment.
There's okay. All right. There's just no living things.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you could technically say wood was once living or whatever, but yeah, nothing.
It's not like I'm not saying it's something like everything is dead, but it's like there's just no indications that there's animals that were kept here recently.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of a little unusual. Why would you plant wheat and not have the ability to harvest it? Of course, he could just be renting it out to the neighbor who will
happens all the time. Yes, absolutely, that's true.
So, and that's probably what I'll do as well. So let's go knock on the door.
Yeah.
Okay. You go up to the door. Give it a knock.
Mr. Strauss, it's Dr. Trout, your neighbor.
All right. You wait a second. While you're knocking,
do we hear a click sound?
No, but
click like double barrel shotgun.
You feel as you're knocking the door, the wood, it sounds normal and such, but even just on your knuckles, that's not wood. And that's where we're going to end the evening.
Oh wow.
That's not wood.
Is our